Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute and pretty flower coaster or flower bouquet. It's nice and functional and super pretty. So let's begin. So first you're going to need some yarn. For this crochet over here I used pink color yarn for the flowers, but over here, like right now, I'm going to use blue color yarn. Then you're going to need white color yarn for the base of the crochet. I'm using 2 balls because I don't know if it will be enough. Okay, and then you're going to need some green color yarn for the leaf or the stem. Now you're going to also need a crochet hook, a darning needle, and a stitch marker. So let's begin. So first we're going to start by making a magic circle. To do that, we're going to wrap the yarn thrice, 3 times around our finger. Then we're going to take our hook and put our hook through all 3 of the loops. Okay? All 3 of them. I'm also using a 4mm hook, by the way, because that's what suits my yarn. And then we're going to pull the third loop, the third one, through the first 2 loops on our hook. Like under our hook. So we gotta pull through the first 2 loops, and then we'll have a hook. We'll have a loop on our hook. Okay, and then we'll take the loop off our finger, and then we're going to chain 1. Okay, yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. And that is all to make a magic circle. I'm going to use my tension ring, and let's begin. For every round, I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2, because, this is a double crochet. And then we're going to start by making 12 double crochets. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to insert into our magic circle, yarn over, pull out of our magic circle, and we'll have 3 loops. So then what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, okay, and then we'll have 2 loops left, and then we yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. That is 1 double crochet. We're going to do 11 more. So go in, yarn over, pull out, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over, pull to the next 2 loops. Okay, and I'll meet you when I have 12. Okay, so now I'm done with my 12 double crochets, and we can close our magic circle. So to do that, I'm gonna just put my stitch marker in the place of my crochet hook, so it doesn't come undone. Now, since we wrap the yarn thrice around our finger, we'll have like 2 loops in our magic circle, like 2, 1, 2. So we're just gonna pull on one of them, and I think it's the front or back one, and your yarn is going to get, your hole is gonna get smaller. Okay, just pull and it will get smaller. And then once that's done, you're just gonna pull on your tail end of your magic circle. Okay, just the tail end. Nice and tight, so there's no space in our hole. And now we can slip stitch to end the first round. Okay, pull it nice and tight, and then we're going to slip stitch. Okay, so we're going to make sure it's nice and tight because I'm a little nervous because Then we remove our stitch marker, and then we put our crochet hook in, and then we're going to count backwards. We'll have 12 double crochets. You can count the V's. Okay, each V is 1 double crochet. So we have 1. Okay, each V is 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so if we count backwards, the 12th stitch, which is actually the first stitch of our round, is where we're going to do our slip stitch. So we're going to insert our hook in there. Okay, just make sure it's the stitch. because we did a chain 2. We should not insert our hook into that chain 2 into the first stitch, okay? When we count 12th stitch, when we count backwards. 1 second. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure that's that stitch. Okay, and there we go. And we're going to yarn over and pull out of that stitch, and then you're going to immediately pull through the loop on our hook. Okay, and that is all for a slip stitch. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1 and chain 2, and then we're going to start round 2. So we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch where we slip stitched into. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, pull through, and do a double crochet. And now this round is a bit different because we're going to do increases only. Increase means 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So I'm going to do a second one. Okay, and that is an increase. And then I'll show you again. Do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, go in, yarn over, pull out, and do a double crochet. And then we're going to go back into the same stitch, that hole we see over there. Gonna go in and do a double crochet. So that's 2 increases, and we're going to do 12 increases in total. So we'll have 24 stitches. Okay? So I'm just gonna add my stitch marker so I can keep count, so I know when to finish. Okay, so now I'm done with all 12 of my increases, so we're gonna have 24 stitches in total. And like we did in round 1, we're going to do a slip stitch to end the round. If you count backwards, the 24th stitch, which is actually the first stitch, gonna insert our hook in there. Be careful not to insert your hook into the chain 2 we did. Okay, so we're just going to go in, and then we're going to yarn over, pull out of that. It's a little tight, but that's okay. Yarn, pull out, and immediately pull through the loop on our hook, and we just pull to tighten. Now we can start round 3. Okay, now this is the customizable part, so listen carefully. For this coaster I did right here, I did 5 rounds. Okay, but for the coaster over here, I'm gonna do just 4 rounds. So you see, the thing is that for each round you're going to increase the number of double crochets you do before doing an increase. So in round 3, I'm gonna do 1 double crochet. Sorry. So right now in round 2, I did only increases, which means 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. But now for round 3, I'm going to do 1 double crochet and increase, which is 2 double crochets, and then 1 double crochet and increase. Okay, so we're just going to keep repeating that. And then in round 4, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Then we're going to do an increase. So 1, then 1, and then 2. So we're going to repeat that pattern. So you're just going to increase the number of double crochets you do before doing an increase, and that is all. Okay? Okay, so now in this coaster I did 4 rounds. So now we can start by making the leaves. So to do that, we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're going to twist the yarn, and the yarn behind, we're just going to pull it through like that. And then we're going to put the slip stitch on our finger just for now. And then you're going to take your hook, and then you're going to insert it into the first stitch after we did our slip stitch to finish it off, finish our 4th round off. And then we're going to put our hook through the slip stitch, tighten it, and then we're going to just pull it through the stitch so that the loop is only showing. And then we're going to chain 1. Okay, now we've chained 1, and then we're going to chain 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we have 5 chains. Then we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, yarn over, insert, and do a double crochet into the same stitch. And we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then we're gonna skip 2 stitches, and then we're going to do our next double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, insert it into the 3rd stitch, and do a double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2 again, and then into the same stitch we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, again. So yeah, so the reason why we're doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch is because we're gonna get like a triangular shape. So we're gonna chain 2 again. Okay, and this time we're going to skip 2. So as you can see, there's this triangular shape which looks really pretty. So yeah, again we're gonna skip 2, 1, 2, we're gonna skip, and then to the 3rd stitch we're going to do a double crochet again. Okay, and then we're gonna chain 2 and do 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. So this is gonna be our pattern. Chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into the same stitch, and then skip 2, and do that. So yeah, okay, so now I'm done with all of that double crochets, and now we've got this lovely triangular pattern. Now we're going to make the flower. So for this crochet I use something called a popcorn stitch. Okay, but for the coaster I'm making right now, I'm going to use a puff flower stitch. Okay, so I just wanted to try out the puff flower stitch. So let's see how it's going to be. So first we're going to start by making a slip stitch. So like I showed last time, we're going to hold our yarn like this, and we're going to twist it, and the yarn that's behind, we're going to pull it through our twisted loop. Okay, and then we're going to put the slip stitch on our finger, and then we're going to just put our hook through that big hole after we've done our slip stitch. Okay, through the big hole, not the triangular hole, but the normal hole. And then we're going to put it onto our slip stitch, tighten the slip stitch, and then we're going to pull it just so that the loop just comes out. And then we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do a single crochet into that same big hole. So we're going to insert our hook in, okay, and then we're going to yarn over, pull out, and you yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. That is all for a single crochet. And then you're going to chain 1, 2, and 3. Okay, once you've chained 3, you're going to do the same thing as you would do for a double crochet. So you go into the triangular hole, okay, and then we're going to yarn over, pull out. Now we have 3 loops like we have in a double crochet, but we're only going to pull through the first 2, and then we're going to yarn over and go back into that triangular hole again. Okay, so you're just gonna keep repeating it again and again, just yarning over, going in, and pulling through the first 2 loops only. Okay, and we're going to do this until we have 7 loops on our hook. So if you count, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 7 of those loops, and then we're going to go back into that triangular hole and do a slip stitch. So we're gonna go in, yarn over, and immediately pull through the loop on our hook. Okay, and that is all. And we're gonna shape it to make it look puffy. And now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so yeah, Okay, so guys, I just need to tell you something. At the time when I did this video, I forgot to chain 3 after I did a single crochet, but you have to chain 3 once you're done with the single crochet. So yeah. Okay, so now I have 7 loops again, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 7 loops, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. Okay, pull through, and then I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, and now we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so now in this part I'm going to show you that you have to chain 3 after the single crochet. Okay, so yeah, so once you're done chaining 3, you're going to make a single crochet, and then you're just going to, chain 3. Okay, so now I'm done with all of my puff flowers, and now I'll show you how to end the round. So I chained 3. So now remember when we first did a single crochet after chaining 1, when we did our slip stitch and put it into our hole? So yeah, that single crochet, we're gonna put our crochet hook into that. I don't know if you can see clearly, but there is a single crochet over there. Okay, and then we're going to go into that. Okay, just go in, and then we're gonna do a slip stitch. Going to yarn over, pull out, and immediately pull through the loop on our hook. And we're going to cut the yarn about like a few centimeters long, just enough so we can weave it in. Okay, and yeah, just gonna chain 1 just to be safe. Chain 1. I'm just gonna pull that through like that, and we're just gonna pull on it to tighten, and that is all for our coaster. Now I'll show you how to weave in. Okay, so now we've got a lot of loose ends to weave in, so I'll show you how to weave them in. So for the white ones, we're gonna weave it in to the base of our coaster. So the point is, you have to go through all the loops you can find, all the, those single crochets, double crochet, they have loops like in between, and you're just gonna go through them. But what you need to make sure is that they don't show through both the sides, okay? Because if they show through either one of the sides, it's gonna look wonky and really messy. So yeah, just gonna go through and make sure it's not showing through both the sides. Make sure it's nice and concealed. That's why we weave in. Okay, and we're just gonna go through like that. Okay, so I've went through all the loops. You can also go back and forth if you want. So yeah, if it's a bigger project, I go back and forth just to make sure. So over here I have went back and forth. Okay, so yeah, I'm done with my first loose end of the white. I'm just gonna cut it off, and you do the same for the other white ones, and then I'll show you how to weave in the green ones. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to weave in the green ones. So done with my last white loose end, and I'm just gonna cut it. Okay, so now for the green ones, what we're gonna do is we're going to weave it in to like the first round, not the first round, the fourth round, like the very edge of our crochet base. Okay, the very edge, so it stays sort of concealed. We don't want to go too deep into the center of our base when we are weaving in the green one, otherwise it's gonna show and it's gonna look super messy. And again, we're gonna make sure that it doesn't show on both sides. Okay, so just go, and yeah, I'm done. Just go back and forth, and then I'm gonna pull through, and you're just gonna cut it off, and then I'll show you how to weave in the blue ones. You're gonna do it into the puff flower. Okay, so now I'll show you how to weave in the blue ones. So what you're gonna do is you're going to, take your darning needle, put your yarn through. It's sort of hard, yeah. Okay, and then you're going to go through the puff flower. Like, you're just gonna go in to it, like, and come out of the other side. Okay, it's a little hard, but yeah, you're just gonna pull through like that. It's quite easy. And yeah, just go in and then you're just going to pull it through. Okay, so yeah, now I'm done, and I'm done with both loose ends. Just gonna cut it. Okay, and that is all for our coaster. It was pretty easy, right? So yeah, it's nice and beautiful. And comment down below whether you like the pink one or the blue one. And also comment down below if I should post a short on how to do a popcorn stitch, because over here I used the puff flower stitch. Okay, so yeah, it's nice and pretty and super cool. So I can also put my tumbler on it. Also comment down below whether I should use the pink one or the blue one for my tumbler, because I've been using the pink one for the past few days. So if you like my video, don't forget to subscribe and like my video, and don't forget to check out my other videos too. So bye guys.